Paul, we wanted today to talk about the home buying process from a lender perspective and what you need to do in order to give a client the best chance to get their offer accepted. It's still a pretty aggressive market out there, especially for homes selling under 500,000, first-time buyers who, may not have $1 million to spend. What are you doing from your perspective to help these clients get their offer accepted?
So yeah, it's great question here. As you know, very competitive market right now. Inventory is, especially in that 500,000 under range for first time home buyers. So we have to find ways to be creative to give them the best chance of, number one, being comfortable and also getting the offer ultimately accepted. And right now, when I'm meeting with someone, a prospective client, or just someone who knows they want to buy today, we sit down. I have a consultation. Maybe 5-10 minutes, kind of ask some questions. Basically, where are you right now, and where do you feel comfortable? Not how much do you want to spend, but where do you feel comfortable for a monthly payment? Because that's huge.
Mhm.
Just because someone qualifies on paper doesn't mean they're comfortable with what it would take or what the payment would be. And last thing you want to do is put someone in a predicament where they feel they're house poor. Now all they can afford is their house, and they can't go out to eat like you mentioned, or go maybe to a sporting event or on a vacation. So those are
Mhm.
things I have to take into consideration. Once you do that, and again, once you have that conversation, then you go over, okay, this is what it takes. This is what your down payment would be. This is what you need to qualify in order to get this house. And you can see it kind of, it's a snowball effect, but it's a great conversation to have versus, hey, you're pre-approved,
Yeah.
you know. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that's great. And you see it, I mean, with clients we've had, and, they ask questions, and, typically when we get a pre-approval in their hand, they kind of know what's going on already. And it makes your life a little easier when you get to the next step when you're showing them homes. Sometimes they realize, what, maybe I'm not ready today, and maybe it's down the road, or, what, I wanted that single family home, but the payment isn't really, I'm not comfortable. But if I buy a 2-family or a 3-family, now the payment's more, but you have the rental income that can offset half, if not almost the whole payment. And that's another conversation we have with people, especially first-time home buyers.
Out of, like, let's just say 100 of your buyers that you've worked with in the recent, past,
Yeah.
how many of those buyers, do you feel looked into and switched from single family to a multifamily type of option for affordability?
Sure. So I would say, 3-4 years ago, it wasn't as common because rates were a little bit lower, prices, were more fair. I would say, back then it was probably 80% who wanted to buy a single family home stayed with a single family home. But
Got it.
nowadays, in particular, with what things cost and, cost of living, I would say at least half the people I talk to initially think, especially first time home buyers, I want that single family home in Cranston or East Greenwich, wherever it may be, then realize, you know what? Yes, I do, but maybe that might be my goal in 5 years now. And I get in this house for the time being. I would say almost half of them consider it. Now, given inventory doesn't make it easy with multifamilies, but I
Yeah.
think that people that have the ability, especially people have the ability to put down a little bit of money, who consider, with conventional financing now with 5% down, I think that opened up the door a little bit on multis. Whereas in the old days, it was FHA, which not all properties pass, or you had to put down 20%. And this 5% down definitely give people different options. This is how we kind of set them up for success.
Paul, let's say if they go in on a 5% down conventional program for that specific case, are they allowed to get gift funds from family or friends or anybody? And can you talk about that? And if so, how much?
Sure, absolutely. So yes, great question. They can get gift funds with owner-occupied properties. They can get gift funds from family members. Most cases, sometimes they want a minimum contribution, but in most cases, being a first-time home buyer, they can get almost the entire down payment, if not pretty much the whole amount gifted. And the other thing to keep in mind is, they can get the down payment gifted. We also can get creative with closing costs. With conventional financing, they'll do up to, typically with a 5% down, up to 3% of the purchase price. So quick math here: house is, would say 400,000, 3% is 12,000. So essentially, they can get a credit up to 12,000 from sellers, which again, not always easy to get accepted, but that's something we can do on the closing cost side. And they can get the down payment gifted from family members. So in theory, they can almost get by with little, if nothing, out of pocket with the right, combination of credits as well as family member gifts. So it's a
Well,
good way to get them in the house.